With the preseason right around the corner for Chelsea FC, we need to talk about what Mauricio Pochettino needs to do this preseason to get Chelsea on the right foot. Now, we're going to talk about three main topics and how these three things can help Chelsea elevate their game this season and possibly compete for some trophies. Now, let's kick off and start with the first tactic. Now, the first thing that should not be surprising is fitness. Now, if you recall with Chelsea last season, they ranked number 19th of all the 20th teams in distance covered. They had 1,466.4 kilometers covered. They only beat out Crystal Palace. Now, yes, you could argue that distance is not the sole purpose for winning and losing, but it does play a major factor in how teams actually win games, because without distance covered, you're not able to control the game. You're also not able to add pressure on the opponents and therefore win the ball in their half, which then eventually can lead to chances created, which we will talk about later. But because of this, Mauricio Pochettino has gone out and has done his Gasson test or the beep test to again increase fitness for the Chelsea players, and therefore again have them running at higher pace and in higher intensity, because when he's able to do that, they're able to win the ball back, keep possession, and therefore again dictate matches. Now, number two that we need to talk about is the core 11 starting, because as we all recall last season, with multiple managers managing Chelsea, there were so many different changes throughout the entire season, not just with formation, but players starting in general. We all know that the squad was totally bloated. We've seen a lot of players leave this summer already, and Pochettino during this preseason needs to figure out his core 11 players. Now, granted, there are going to be injuries throughout the season, so again, that will change different players in different formations. But right now, during preseason, Pochettino needs to figure out who his back four is going to be, his two midfielders, his three attacking players, and his striker. When he's able to figure out those positions, he then can tinker around just a little bit more to, again, fine-tune the team and get them going in the right direction. Because when you change so many players, it's hard to keep the chemistry and consistency and the fluidity with the team, and therefore, again, it makes it very challenging to win games, because you do not understand how some players are going to play each and every match. The more reps you get with a player, the more understanding, and therefore, again, the better chemistry, which helps a team create more chances and win games. Now, number three, which should not be surprising because we've already talked about multiple times, is finishing. Now, we all know that Chelsea struggled last season with so many chances that they missed during matches. And because of this is the reason why they fell to the bottom half of the table. Now, Chelsea were only able to score 38 goals last season. Now, granted, their defense was pretty rock solid, only allowing 47 goals, so only having a -9 goal differential, which helped Chelsea secure the 12th position in the Premier League table. But that all being said, this preseason has to be one of the key factors into scoring goals, because if we cannot score goals, we will be running the exact same scenario as we did last season. Yes, we have different players coming in, and yes, with Pochettino, there will be different tactics, but it does not matter unless players start finding the back of the net. Once players start finding the back of the net, they will increase their confidence, and again, it'll help Chelsea actually relieve pressure off their midfield and defense, because when you start scoring goals, you then can dictate the game even more compared to chasing the game after you're down a goal. Now, that all being said, there are other factors that Pochettino and Chelsea will still need to look into, such as players coming in from the transfer. There are certain players like Mauricio Pochettino who could be phenomenal in the central defensive midfield position. They also could be looking for another striker. On top of that, Chelsea still needs to figure out their fitness with injuries, because as we know, Chelsea were rattled with plenty of injuries last season. So again, making sure that we can keep all players fully fit will go a long way to help all three of these categories, so such as the fitness, core starting 11, and finishing. So that is all we have for you today in this video with what Pochettino needs to do this preseason. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you like the button, hit subscribe if you have not, and also share this with anyone that you feel like. But also comment down below too what you think about the preseason and what Chelsea can do to, again, getting on the right foot for the season of the 2023-2024 Premier League.